if you're in one of these lobbying groups, you said they're lawyers, sometimes they're very, very right Republican guys, because they have their own law firm, and then the Olson, the other law firm, is the Democratic. Sometimes we other minority groups, we can't get in those law firms, not as interns, not as lawyers, not as lobbyists. So if you guys are already connected, whether it's with the Democrats or with the Republicans, can you create some internships, some summer internships, something, so that some of us other minority groups can follow that path in? Because what I have seen from being in Sacramento, from being in law school there 25 years ago, I'm in Roseville, I'm in private practice now, you just can't get in because the Republicans are their group. The Republicans have their own law firm. They're helping, whether it's Arnold or whether it's Pete Wilson or whoever it is. You have the Democrats, and they have a law firm, and usually retired judges in the title of the law firm, and they're not letting you in either. So where are we going to get those Asian leaders until we can get into some of these positions of influence?
That's very perceptive, and you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, in the political world, normally you're either Republican or Democrat. Same as in the lobbying world. Not necessarily true. The firm I joined, when I joined them, they were purely Democratic. All of us had come out of the legislature as former staffers, and we were selected. But I actually went to the Hospital Association and law firm before I joined my final firm, Governmental Advocates. But everybody was Democratic, and everybody had come out of the building. You get very polarizing when you have that situation because Democratic staff go to Democratic organizations and firms. Republicans do the same thing. Republicans tend to lobby business issues, pro-business issues. They'll lobby the Chamber of Commerce, the conservative trade associations. Democrats generally lobby the more liberal issues, the more humanitarian, altruistic issues, like I like to say. Our firm is a little different because while we are Democratic, we always project to the potential clients that we represent anybody. We can talk to anybody. We can talk conservative, we can talk liberal, we can talk pro-business, we can talk pro-labor. Our firm was just 2 years ago added a former Republican staffer that also worked for Arnold Schwarzenegger. When she left the legislature, she went to work for the administration under Governor Schwarzenegger. Now we can truly say that we're bipartisan. But to your point, it's not easy. Most firms don't take interns because they want you to start working, just like a law firm. They want you to start working. Once your feet hit the ground, you're expected to bring in clients, service clients, and coming in as an intern and being nonpartisan. They generally don't look too kindly toward you. They want you to be one or the other, but if you can come in and show that in your past work history before you join a particular firm, that you have relationships. You can have relationships with legislators. And my wife, one of the strengths she had in the Capitol was that she took care of the Republican caucus so well they all loved her. And they said that under Willie Brown, who was extremely partisan, she had them as friends and they saw her as a friend so they could go to talk to her, which prior to her tenure as chief administrative officer, that didn't happen. With my particular firm that I retired from, we are able to talk to all 120 legislators, regardless of whether they're Republicans or Democrats or independents and moderates. You have to develop that skill. But the ability in professional lobbying is it's all about relationships, just as it is in families, just as it is in your career, whoever you work for. It's about relationships. It's about the ability to talk to everybody, to develop access to and a relationship with everybody. If you're working for an IT company, you know how highly political that is. I think corporate politics is much more bloodthirsty and brutal than political organizations, because we have some guidelines and protocols that most of us, not all, but most of us adhere to. In the corporate world, and our daughter works for Oracle, she's been there 15 years, is extremely, extremely competitive, and everybody is looking to climb over somebody else. Somebody wants your job. You're always hearing footsteps. But getting into a job situation that is non-political, so you have an expertise. So you come into a lobbying firm or a law firm, you have an expertise in whether it be labor, real estate, business, whatever it is. If you have that expertise, then you'll be sought after as an expert in that subject matter and is less politically, should I say, focused upon. So that way, with your expertise, you can go anywhere you want. I have a healthcare expertise, so I can talk to the Republicans are a lot more sympathetic because they're pro-healthcare providers. But I was able to talk to both sides of the aisle. Develop an expertise, and then market that expertise, less partisan politics.
I was going to piggyback on that. Yeah, you obviously went into leadership role at San Jose State. How did you find out about the executive fellowship program? I think it's
I actually found out about the Executive Fellowship Program, which is a program of the Capital Fellows Program through my friend Julie Nickey, who was an alumni of the same civic leadership program I did with APALI, Asian Pacific American Leadership Institute in the Bay Area. And so to also reiterate what Dr. Tom was talking about, it's really about relationships and about the connection that you have with the community and building up other people as you're being that leader. But I think also, if you want to talk more about the Capital Fellows Program or the Executive Fellowship Program, I would be happy to talk with you, or if that's something that you're interested in applying in a few years. It's a really wonderful program, and it really exposes you to work with some key executives from each branch to really address some critical policies and also initiatives in California state government. So feel free to come talk to me if you're interested in getting involved with that.
And those fellowship programs are a great way to start those relationships and build that network. So we highly encourage you to apply, and we definitely need more diversity in those fellowship programs. So you can talk to Yin Yin, or we can also provide you that information too. APALI is another great organization to participate in if you're in the Bay Area, to go through their leadership program also. And then this opportunity here that you have through APAPA, to also become ambassadors of APAPA and spread the word about this opportunity to other youth and students, so that they can also have this same opportunity. So it's about, I think what you've heard here, the theme pretty much, everybody is sharing the information they have. They're sharing the experiences and connecting, people and providing the resources to others that are coming after. Do we have any other questions? Oh, we have one here.
Hi, my name is Lily Lee. I'm from Los Angeles with cause, and I'm interning at Congressman Javier Becerra's office this summer. So I have a question for Maylee. You emphasize the importance of having mentorships and sponsors, but how do you get powerful sponsors to support your political career pathway financially as well as professionally?
It's interesting you ask that question. By the way, I want to tell you, Javier Becerra was a fellow or intern under my husband. My husband was chief of staff to Art Torres. Javier was just starting as an intern, and he used to call Javier Kid. So you tell Javier, you better behave. I think, I think that's a good question in terms of how do you, give me a framework. Give me a framework of your question in terms of, so I can be more specific.
So this summer, a lot of professionals have been telling me how there's a difference between having a mentor and a sponsor. A mentor can give you words of advice and support you, professionally, but a sponsor is really important because you need that, finance and revenue coming in as a politician.
Okay. Well, I've never had a sponsor, and it's very tough to get a sponsor. But in terms of mentors, I think those of you who have the opportunity to work in members' offices have a great opportunity. My mentors in the legislature was former Senator Art Torres, John Vasconcellos, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, and Lou Pappin were some who, and David Roberti, who allowed me to pursue the Asian agenda because they believed in it. So I was very very lucky. So I think in finding mentors are those who you feel you can connect with or who have achieved something that you want to emulate. And you will find that mentors will want to share. This 2-hour speed mentoring is going to give you a wide array of mentors to learn from. So what I suggest, as you go through the speed mentoring, see if anybody will sponsor you. It's hard to get financial sponsorship.
But I think even the sponsorships and the mentors is through relationships too. It goes back to, what Tom said, it's like it's establishing those relationships. Sandy, Jennifer?
My question is to all the panelists. We're basically talking about influence public policies, and then the question is this: is the system fair? Is the legislator informed and could make good judgments, or is it that in the nursery the baby cry loudest get milk, or is evenly to the hungry babies? And then, as I think Ron have a lot of encounter on that, and maybe talk about the helpers. And that I have hosted a group of state treasurers in Hong Kong in 1996. And then along the way, they always invite their gatekeepers. And end up the gatekeepers typically are minority blacks. They have to go through them in order to make investments. So it's the same thing like with, we have needy situation not addressed, and then we have to encounter a better woman, and all those issues. When you encounter that, what do you think the challenge are? Or what do you think, what do you need to do? And then is the process perfect? Or what we need to do to be less disadvantaged, or what we need to do to be at least equal?
Albert, you've had some experience in getting resources, right? So I think I'll give you a chance to personal experience.
My personal experience may be slightly different from a pure community activist, because I've not mentioned, but I've also been involved in campaigning, fundraising for politicians for quite some time. So I have some connections that others may not. I guess the bottom line is you have to have access to people who can make decisions. That access can be through a lobbyist, it costs money. And the access can be through helping them with campaigns, helping them with fundraising. It might be what people can do more easily without money. And it can be through personal relationships. In the case of advocacy for disabilities, obviously you look for senators and assembly people who have children or grandchildren with similar disabilities who can relate to you better, and they will be more willing to talk to you. But legislators have a lot on their table, on their plate. I think I was quoted once by a senator that they see 2,000 bills a year. There is no absolute possible human way they can understand these 2,000 bills. How do you make your particular concern rise to the top of their agenda, having them understand your issue and push for it? That's quite an art. At the very minimum, you must have their ear. If they don't hear about it, they will never pay any attention. Understanding the legislators will help. Certain ones have expertise in transportation, some in education, some in finance, some in social services. So you go to those who have the knowledge already and have an interest in your bill. In my particular case, Senator Jim Beal is a social worker. He's from San Jose. He knows the system very well. He came from a county board of supervisor position, which funds these social agencies. So if you look at their background, you can figure out who might be more sympathetic to you, as well as who will be who can understand issues. They just got too much on their mind. It's not possible for somebody who's focused on transportation issues to understand social service as well and actually push for it. Plus, they sit in these committees, they hold a powerful position for those bills, and you have the social service committee chair on your side, you get everything done much faster because other people listen to him. And that's one of my personal, and the other is you can join commissions, you can be appointed to it. I was on the Blue Ribbon Commission to advise the legislature on autism affairs, and we had proposed a slew of 12 bills, all of our 2-year sessions that we discussed various things. And I think 7 or 8 of them became law, and some other got vetoed by the governor. That's another avenue you can go through as a layperson to propose legislation to directly almost as a subcommittee or an advisory committee of sorts. That's my experience.
I'd like to add to that. You're right, Sandy. It isn't always fair. It's really access and it's money. And it's access to staff or to the member itself. I'm going to give a quick example. Then have my husband also, because he's the most expert in this. Cece was very influential on one issue that had to do with the resolution 1882 about overturning or about getting an apology from Congress to the Chinese citizens for the barriers that they set up that was very anti-Asian. We couldn't get it through Congress because the Republicans did not support it. And what we had, and it was a national effort, no one in Washington, D.C., OCA, any of these groups were able to push this. I called Cece. Cece has been a big supporter of the Republican Party, much to my chagrin, and to a lot of Republican leaders in Congress. I called Cece, explained to him what the issue was. He picks up the phone. He gets Republican leaders who know how much he contributes to the party and to the Republican caucus, and they now start negotiating with the Democrats. Not only for that, but we had some Democratic help as well. But just to get someone, a congressman, to answer the phone, we had to get Cece to leverage his connections with the Republican leadership in Congress to even start a conversation.
You're right on all 3 points. Legislators largely are unknowing of the issues because there are too many issues, unless they have a personal history of career when they come to the legislature, or they're quick learners. With term limits, there are no quick learners. 6 years, they're out. The term limits just being extended to 12 years gives them the opportunity to become expert in certain issues. Lobbying world, I had a great comment. Everybody should have their own personal lobbies. That gives you access, it gives you relationships, it gives you reputation, but nobody can afford to do that. Money does buy access, it does not buy votes. But it gives you the ability to go in and talk to somebody. Talk to staff, get consultants, talk to the legislator, get your message in there. Help draw a very, very important issue, particularly for community people. What trumps the fact that, well, say you're a legislator, you have a lot of masters you have to serve. Speaker of the Assembly if you're an Assembly person, President pro tem if you're a senator, your party, your colleagues, special interests in money, the lobbyists are in there banging on you, supported your campaign, a friend of yours, you want to disconnect this relationship. An outward situation, particularly for disabilities, stronger than money is the issue itself. Find somebody, like you mentioned, find a legislator who has somebody, maybe either their own child that's autistic, it could be cerebral palsy, it could be a number of other medical maladies and disabilities. Find somebody, find a connection, personal connection. My son, my grandson, my niece, my nephew, my neighbor, my very good friend, golfing partner, their child is autistic. Passion, humanity, they trump money and access to legislators. So many times I've gone in and I've talked to legislators about a particular vote. They said, I can't vote with you because I'm representing a corporation. I'm there for a drug company, medical community, or our surgery centers, our hospitals. They know it's corporate practice of medicine, but they're going to vote with the patient, because the patient has a stronger need and a stronger message than what the professional people do that spend a lot of money. That works, and that works almost every time.
And the final note, you can never underestimate your value to go to your own district legislator. Floyd is here, he knows more than anybody. If you're a voter in a legislative district, that's very key, that you nurture a relationship, but also be around to help them with their campaign. That doesn't hurt. But if you're a voter in a district, you should get some attention. Not that I always vote for you, but you'll get some attention.
So on that note, I just wanted to make sure that we, once again, just a wonderful applause for our distinguished guests who share their experience and their doing.
As a startup in Silicon Valley, innovation is our DNA. It's inside our blood. What is innovation?
Very confident.
It's a way of thinking, it's a philosophy, it's a mindset. It's very closely related to leadership.
For me, it's really about finding the right fit between the product and the market.
Have a strong technology position, a strong market impact.
Innovation can be an idea, can be a product, can be a service, or can be a thinking. It can be everything, out-of-box thinking, not limited to your background, to the past. Welcome to Innovation Dialogue. I'm Diana Dane, and today we are going to talk about Cloud Festival. Today we have Carrie Davis, and she's here to share her story, which is so inspiring. What we are doing here is to summarize, bring out the point, and give a good presentation. Help people to bring out their idea to the whole world.
It's very important to be able to spot human talent and to be a good leader.
More importantly, it's how our corporate and partners perceive the value that's come out of the event.
It was all about seizing the opportunity rather than looking at the world as a set of problems.
I want to change the paradigm of angel investing being local. I want all of us to think global and to look at great opportunities in Asia or Europe, wherever it is in the world.
Come to Dingding TV. Let us work together to bring out your idea to share with the whole world.